Spy Family, Attack on Titan, Komi-san. You know what this anime have in common? It came from manga. Ever since I made a video about Chainsaw Man, I was introduced to this whole new universe in manga. And just like any other person, I'm addicted. For days I spent my time crawling in my bed reading hundreds of chapters and dozens of titles just to know there are a shit ton of manga. So I'm not a manga expert in any way, and all the titles I have in this video are considered a popular manga, so if you're looking for some unknown or underrated titles, sadly this is not a video. I made this list for people who are just starting to read manga like me. But for you guys who are already expert and balls deep in this game, you can continue watching. Probably you missed something, you know, just probably. Me exploring manga is like humans trying to explore the ocean. When you thought you knew everything, you realize you barely even scratched the surface. This video cannot cover all those titles that are worth mentioning, so if there are any manga I've missed, please don't hesitate to comment down below. When I was 7, I looked at my dad one day sitting at the table. He is doing what every Asian dad did, reading a newspaper while complaining about the economic situation. But what really grained in my head, because my dad read the newspaper while eating rice with crackers. And he absolutely loves it. So what if you replace that rice and crackers with high school girls and aliens? You got this manga called Dededededestruction. If you come up to me and recommend this manga, you will get a slap on your face instead. But if you come back and tell me that this manga was made by Inyo Asano,
son of a bitch.
If it is not for my love for Inyo Asano, I wouldn't give this manga a go, but I have to try it. If you already read Oyasumi Punpun, you know what you expect from this manga with cute girls, aliens, and depression. But if you haven't read Oyasumi Punpun, come on, stop this video and read that already. I actually cannot describe in a good sense what this manga is. Reading this manga is the same as trying to understand why people buy NFTs and this Supreme trunk for $125,000. It makes no sense. But at least I can get you to the experience of reading Dedededestruction. You open the first chapter, you get stunned by this extremely detailed panel. The characters start talking on their way to the school, and this girl opened up the conversation by saying,
You only learned about America through Trash Taste.
In the school, the main character chilling in the roof, and she saw this giant spaceship floating in the air, and her friend came up and talking about flashing their boobs and having literally sex. And the chapter ends with her sleeping comfortably in bed while the giant spaceship is still in the air. Now my words makes more sense. If you enjoyed the girl's last two, you probably enjoy this manga as well, as it radiates the same feeling. The confusion you felt when reading each chapter is actually good motivation for you to keep reading. You are curious and intrigued at the same time, and that is exactly why I love this manga. And if you prefer not reading the manga, the anime soon came out and hopefully could deliver the greatness from this series. Fame. If given any status chance, most people wanted to become famous. Artists, for example, or actors, singers. It feels like a dream to become one of those people. But is it always like that? Does becoming a famous person always bring joy, happiness, and smile just like you've seen on the camera? Oshinoko takes a super interesting approach and perspective to criticize the means of becoming an artist in the entertainment industry. Coming from the creator of Kaguya-sama, you expect the same quality. If you thought manga nowadays is saturated with the same concept getting recycled again and again, boy, you haven't read Oshinoko, because this manga is anything but ordinary. I cannot tell you much about the story because I want you to experience the story by yourself, but I will try to give a brief picture about this manga. You are a middle-aged gynecologist cheering for a 16-year-old idol. One day I came to you saying that she is pregnant. You immediately realize that this is Avengers level threat, an upcoming idol at her peak and has a child in her possessions. Do you remember that hey boomer TikTok girl that got banned one day after announcing she has a boyfriend? That is only a boyfriend. This is a catastrophe. You probably think this is the foundation of the manga, the drama and the dilemma of Ai having a child and trying to hide her secret. But let me tell you that this is only half of the first chapter. The moment before Ai gives birth to her child, you get killed by her fan. And the next thing you know after you wake up, you can actually suck her titties. Oshinoko is not centered about the journey of the main character, but the real selling point is the perspective of a child of a celebrity to criticize the dark and the worst thing happening behind the entertainment industries. The lies, the fake emotion, the competition, the expectation of becoming an idol makes you think twice of becoming famous. Oshinoko confirmed getting an anime adaptation somewhere around 23 or 24, and by the time Oshinoko anime came out, it will shock the internet.
俺は強くなりすぎた。
I have a huge crush on One Punch Man. It's a one-in-a-lifetime experience really, whether you choose to read the manga or watch the anime. One Punch Man has two of my favorite things about anime or manga: a flat comedy combined with a nut-busting art style. It's like an easy key to success. Any series that has that combination, my PP is instantly awakened. And you know what is missing from One Punch Man? A kaiju and underdog story. Combine all of that, you get Kaijuu No.8, which has exactly everything. A deadpan comedy, sensational art style, monster destroying cities, underdog story, power flexing, badass girls. Goddamn, do I need to convince you more to read this manga? It is not only for me, because this manga won the 2021 Best Web Manga category, and it shows not only my PP soaking wet from reading this manga, but following the path that One Punch Man already created is not enough to win those awards. Kaijuu No.8 obviously has some uniqueness, a charm that only this manga possesses. To answer that, I have to go back and explain what Kaijuu No.8 is. Kafka Hibino is a 32-year-old who works for a professional kaiju cleaning company. In a world where seeing kaiju flying over your window is Thursday morning, this job is actually pretty good. But Kafka has his own dreams. He promised to his childhood friend Mina to fight kaiju alongside each other. Even though this seems to be pretty achievable, there are two problems. First off, Kafka is in his 30s, which is old considering you have to be super mobile if you wanna fight a 60-feet giant monster. Second thing is, Mina already became the captain, so... yeah. However, he did not give up. He gave his last shot on joining the force. There's a saying, if you cannot beat them, you join them. And Kafka takes this literally and becomes a kaiju himself. With this new power, Kafka grants that sweaty rank on the leaderboard to get to the top so he can stand and fight kaiju by her side. Kaijuu No.8 is full of surprises. One chapter you thought the story went this way, one chapter later the story get twisted, make you think twice about what you thought one chapter ago. Flip one chapter, they gave you 4 pages of kaiju getting bitch slapped to oblivion. This manga is a fun ride to read and to experience, and probably the shonen you are waiting for. Imagine your country competing in a prestigious international competition, Olympics for example, or World Cup. In that tournament, your country lost in a disappointing fashion. What would most people do in this situation? Ranting on Twitter, giving harsh comment on the team, blaming one specific player for the reason for your loss? How about you pick up your pen and papers and start sketching, scripting, and making a manga, criticizing the flawed mindset of your country that held back your national team from winning? That is exactly what this madman did in creating Blue Lock, a manga about criticizing the Japanese football national team while giving a thrilling story about football. Isagi is the one of the promising young strikers in Japan. He gets an invitation to train at this camp named Blue Lock, where all the 300 of the upcoming talented strikers in Japan gather to only one of them being selected and promised to become the #1 striker in world football. Blue Lock combines a battle royale and sports in one genre to flesh out their main idea and the point of its criticism. Blue Lock is not your day-to-day sports manga. It's you against 300 wonder kids that want the same goal and position. Cooperating isn't an option. Imagine in a one-on-one situation with the goalkeeper and you see your teammates in open goal. You have the option to pass to your teammate with almost a granted goal or take all the responsibility to take the shot on your own. In order to become the best, you have to be selfish. You had to have the confidence in your own ability that you can take the responsibility. This seems to be the polar opposite of what sports should have been, but that is the main selling point for Blue Lock. It's not your ordinary sports series like Haikyuu or Kuroko where teamwork is everything, but here, it's all about you and only you. Even though the sports genre overall is not widely popular, but I strongly believe Blue Lock in the next fall season could be the turning point to shoot the popularity in the sports genre in the community. I read more chapters in Hell's Paradise other than any mangas I've mentioned before, and that is for a good reason. Once I read the first line, next thing I know I already read the first chapter, and I check my phone, it's already midnight and I'm sitting 50 chapters deep. I cannot stop. Is it because I crave for more of the story, or is it because I invested with the characters, or I just don't know what the fuck I'm reading. Gabimaru is known as the Hollow Ninja who gets sentenced to death. However, Gabimaru seems actually happy to be executed. He killed a lot of people, and for him the loss of one life does not matter. Tired of his own life, he wanted to die as he had no other reason to live. But in practice, no execution method seems to work for him. A classic French cuisine, ushizaki, the OG witch hot shower, nothing works. That changes until he meets Sagiri, the Yamada Simon or the executioner who can actually kill him. Gabimaru backed off and felt threatened. He felt his life could fly away anytime her sword scarred through his body. But that is good news, right? He wants to die and finally meet someone who can actually kill him.
Wrong.
For the first time in his life, he wants to live. He remembers his wife, the only person that he cares about, and he wants to keep living to return to his wife. Saguri offers him to join an expedition to find an elixir in a southern island in Japan in exchange for forgiveness from the shogun. However, that is not an ordinary island, but a mysterious paradise, and it's full of stories. Gabimaru agrees to join the expedition with Saguri by his side, and thus begins the journey. Sounds like a simple premise, but once you fully read the first chapter, you know this will hit different. To be honest, I cannot explain what I'm feeling after reading the first chapter. Am I feeling sympathetic to the main character? Or am I feeling curious about the island and the journey they went through? Am I rooting for him to find his way and go back to his wife? This feeling of emptiness after I'm reading the first chapter is the reason why I read this manga all the way through, and by kept on reading chapter by chapter, it slowly fills this emptiness. Hell's Paradise is also getting an anime adaptation, and by today's date, I cannot confirm when it came out, but I know one thing for sure. When it comes out, it will be one hell of a story.